What's up, everybody? Welcome to Moxie Bets, presented by Caesar Sportsbook. I'm Katie Mox. Today, we're talking NFL picks, props, and bets for the full slate of Sunday game. We'll also get into tonight's game, Thursday Night Football. And in order to do that, let's welcome in my friend. You know him, you love him, from MSG Networks, Alex Monaco. How are we doing, Monaco?
Katie, fired up to be with you. A little alliteration here, Mox and Monaco. Let's go. M&M on the ones and twos. Thanks for having me back.
I love it. Moneyline Monaco and Moxie Bets. A whole lot of hand gestures in this one, some screaming maybe, and some hot bets. Want to get your take, because I follow you and everything. You've been crushing this NFL season. So what are your just kind of like overall thoughts about this season? Anything that you've picked up that you feel like people should know?
Well, thank you. And you've been crushing it too. Shout out all things you're doing. Just love to see you on national television. It's awesome.
Thank you.
This is an interesting year, Katie. I was looking just at overall against the spread numbers. Doesn't matter, home favorites, road dogs, vice versa. Nothing's above 53% against the spread. No matter how you dice it, however you look at trends, angles, whatever, we are in a fascinating year where we know about unders being clearly the talk of the town, at least in prime time specifically. But just for anyone out there, I would say live betting, there's going to be a lot of opportunities. Last week, Browns went all the way up to plus 17 in that Ravens game, won outright. Texans got into double digits when they went down to Cincy early. So, there's a lot of live betting value, but this is a read and react. I always give a little metaphor. It's like bowling, but you got to put the bumper lanes on and you got to bounce back and forth week to week, because that's what this league is. I mean, look at Denver Monday night against Buffalo. So just stay on your toes and try to be open to
more live betting,
because this is a very unpredictable year.
It's a very unpredictable year, and it's so interesting too because, like you said, unders are hitting at like an unprecedented rate. Primetime unders, we've been kind of seeing the primetime thing since last year, but I feel like the under in general this year, extremely low totals. We got one on here for 33. We've seen a lot under 40. Defenses it's like the year of defense. I feel the last couple of years it's all been about the high-powered offenses scoring, and now it's like interceptions are through the roof, which I love an interception prop, so that's kind of one of my favorite things that's happening. And then defenses, it's really just been that kind of like battle in the trenches this year. So I don't live bet all that much, but I agree with you because it's been so unpredictable. I feel like a few weeks ago, they were all extremely tight spreads, like under a field goal. Now we've got some crazy double digit ones, but you're like, I don't know. Do I lay the double digits for this team? Like the
No, it's
Cowboys?
true. I mean, well, like the Panthers, you would think the Cowboys are going to roll them, but then you look at the splits, Cowboys on the road versus at home. It's kind of wild to think, but Carolina could end up hanging in that game, cover the double-digit spread. I don't know if I feel that way about the Miami Raiders game, but to your point, these double-digit spreads, I mean, sometimes they dupe you. It's interesting. Sometimes the books are like Broncos plus 7.5. That's historically Josh Allen's won almost 40 games by 7 or more, and you realize you're clearly on the wrong side. And back to the first question, you can kind of tell in these games in the first half where it's going. The gambling gut is real. Yeah. You just got to listen to it. I got things where like I'm on Broncos plus 7 and I call it the double Costanza dip. I go Bills money line. I might need you as a gambling therapist for a different day, but try to get greedy. Don't get greedy for those out there. Stay on one side. Don't get cute.
Don't get cute. Yeah, well, that's that. Getting cute is always going to get you. So let's talk about some of those things that you touched on right there. What did we just wait? The last Monday night game with the Bills. Ken Dorsey fired offensive coordinator. Wanted to get your thoughts on this. I put a poll out on Twitter and we had a couple hundred people that wrote back. I said, was that the right thing to do? Is it his fault? Is it McDermott's fault, or is it the player's fault? And it was pretty like even, like 35%, 33, 32, all in there. What do you think the problem is? Because you look at Josh Allen. I'm a huge Josh Allen fan. Yeah. I try to root for Josh Allen multiple times this year. I've laid the points with Buffalo multiple times this year, thinking that Josh Allen is going to stand up. And I did see that you tweeted out like it was some kind of funny meme about like who the real Josh Allen was.
McLovin,
Yes. Yes. Looking at the ID, it's like, will the real Josh Allen please stand up? What is going on? Is it Ken Dorsey?
I have a take. Okay. I didn't even realize this till after I lost Bills money line live, Katie. Okay. And I'm all about a little philosophy. I'm big on high school cafeteria in life as well as sports. You
Yeah.
know me, I'm not in the 6 foot club. I look at life a lot differently than some
Yeah.
of our NBA, NFL friends who are in first class of height. All that to say, Josh Allen, this sounds ridiculous, but I'm telling you, I remember when Pau Gasol got dumped in the playoffs and we watched him fall off a cliff. Josh Allen was with his girl, his OG
I
ride
was
or
thinking
die
this. I was thinking this.
from day one, and then now he's with not Seinfeld, Steinfeld. And again, I don't know Haley Steinfeld. I know she's
I don't
obviously
think they're
famous,
seeing each other anymore. I don't think him and Steinfeld are seeing each other anymore.
but this is the point. Now he's going through the post breakup of dating the
Yes.
celebrity,
Yes.
and we're watching this dude. His house is not in order. And
Yeah.
again, I'm from San Diego. I'm not a signs guy, but I'm
Yeah.
not a signs guy. You can't date in SoCal and not know zodiac signs a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah.
He is out of the flow. He is not himself. I'm going to say his rock is gone. He's by himself, party of one. He's got all the money in the world. He's playing like he's probably living his life right now. I can relate. And I don't feel good about Josh Allen's just body language and demeanor right now. Dorsey was just a sacrificial lamb, unfortunately. How do you fire the OC when you have a 12-man special teams issue as a last play? But someone had to go in a game like that because it was embarrassing.
Yes.
McDermott needs to be pressed more. He's not getting enough heat.
I agree. I put this more on, especially that play calling there in the end. I was like, there's some of those decisions. But it's so funny that you said this, Alex, because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, he had this hometown girlfriend that he knew from childhood, that he dated for the long time. They break up. He starts dating Haley Stein. But I was thinking from the perspective of her, which I know this sounds so petty, but I'm sure she's like, yeah, this is what happened because something messy happened in this relationship, right? He's a quarterback of the Bills, good looking guy. Something happened. He was maybe being a little flirty or I don't know what. I do think he's a good stand up guy. And she's sitting back and she's cackling. And that is what I thought. So it's funny.
I'm telling you, Katie, we are on to something. There's something there. I don't know how we bet it accordingly.
Yeah.
But this man needs, I don't know if we can hit up his ex, bring them back together.
They get back together. Hammer it.
I love a good rom-com. We're both, we're 90s kids. I love rom-coms. Let's get it back. Let's get the hometown girl back. I don't know though.
All right. Now, well, look, we've figured out what to do for the Bills. So Bills Mafia, you're welcome. You need to go get the high school girlfriend back. One other thing that's happening that I want to get your take on, obviously Deshaun Watson out for the season. He only played 6 games this year. It was very up and down. I feel like the last game was actually his whole season in one game. Opens it up, throwing a pick 6, and then all of a sudden doesn't, 14 completions or something crazy in the second half, comes back and has this incredible win over a rival, over the Ravens that were so great. But it's been up and down. What do you think the Browns do now?
Well, I mean, they're going to have to go all in. It's interesting. They seem to be wrapping their arms around the DTR. UCLA rookie kid. I do like his disposition. I think he's got a lot of poise in the pocket from what we've seen, but I kind of like the PJ Walker thing going on. I'm not sure why they don't want to go with the veteran, a little Tyrod Taylor kind of acumen, plug and plays, dual threat, pretty fundamentally sound in those small spots. But what do? They got to rely on everything outside of the quarterback to game manage. And that's been done before, but you pretty much have to babysit the quarterback and that entire offensive game plan and build around the top 3D that they have. I mean, they're going to have to, they're not getting a ton of turnovers, believe it or not. You look at their turnover differential. It's why I lean Pittsburgh, which we'll talk this weekend. They're going to have to ramp that up. They're going to have to figure out how to be opportunistic and find creative ways to win because they're not going to win any shootouts anymore. And if they had Nick Chubb, I really think they could still potentially make some playoff noise. Right. This is them just hoping to hit their team total over from before the season, which I believe was 8.5.
Well, I was surprised, and I'm sure they're kicking themselves for not getting a better backup quarterback at the trade deadline. They could have got Josh Dobbs.
He was on.
They could have got Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs thought he was going there.
They could have got him back. They could have got him back.
Or Jacoby Brissett again. Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. But we'll see. I mean, Robinson, he could be all right. I think they have the infrastructure, and when you have top 5 offense and defensive lines on the same team, you can play complementary football. I've seen Denzel Ward speak on that early in the season as well, and that's what they'll do. I mean, they got through a few games without Deshaun. They were by no means contingent on him. He is not what he was in Houston, so I do think they will still be competitive. They'll probably be more of a spoiler, though, as we get into December.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, let's get into week 11 picks. If you're listening to this on Thursday, we will talk Thursday night football towards the end of the episodes. You could go ahead and skip ahead there if you need picks for tonight. If you're listening to this throughout the weekend, you can go ahead and hop off when we start talking about that. So we're not going to go through every single game, Alex, but we're going to give 2 spreads and money lines, 2 totals, and then a couple props as well. So starting with money line, or again, I got a gross one, but you tell me what you're doing.
Listen, this is, and I apologize to Kevin on your team who's rocking Kelly Green in the background here. I have to go with the Kansas City Chiefs -2.5. And I was saying it before I came on. I love a beer pong rebuttal game. I love that Jalen Hurts has KC confetti on his lock screen of Super Bowl L's every time he opens his phone.
Okay.
But I'm watching Philly and their, 2 single-digit wins the last couple of weeks against divisional opponents. We've been sort of spinning this sports media narrative that they're winning, but they're not looking incredible.
They're like the Vikings this year. Yeah.
Yeah. But meanwhile, you got a Chiefs team that, believe it or not, and that's why I don't understand the Super Bowl odds. It's Hurts and then it's Mahomes. Mahomes is on a career low right now as far as yards per game. This is about the Kansas City defense. Yeah, this is Kansas City's D is 5th against the pass. They're top 10 in run D. They're second at 16.1 points per game, Katie, on D to the Ravens. If you were to sit here and say you have a top 2 defense with Mahomes as your quarterback and Taylor Swift's boyfriend as your number 1 weapon. I mean, and then this is really a situational spot. And I'm going to sound like a broken record. You're going to hear it in the betting world all week. Andy Reid off a bye. I mean, I got the numbers here. At 12 plus days rest, he's 25-6 in the last 20 years. He's the number 1 off a bye head coach straight up in the history of the sport. And then we know about Mahomes, over 3.5 or under 3.5. We're getting less than 3. He's 26-1 against the spread. That's 20-6-1 push against the spread. And in November and December in his last 31 games, he's 30-1.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
I mean, look, I could go on and on, but look, they're 28th in Philly against the pass. So maybe it's even a breakout game. It's in Arrowhead.
Well, first of all, I don't know if Taylor Swift is back from Buenos Aires or not. I feel like she was in New York getting dinner the other night. So, one, if she's in the United States, she's going to this game. She's now very close. This is the Kelsey game, too. Their podcast, New Heights, going off the charts because all the Swifties are listening.
Taylor and her dad are Eagles fans.
Yes. Well, but her dad was wearing a Chiefs lanyard. Her dad was wearing a Chiefs lanyard at the concert in Buenos Aires when Taylor changed the lyrics and said, Karma is the guy that plays. I'm not even a Swiftie, so I don't know what the actual lyrics are, but Karma's a guy that plays on the Chiefs or something.
Yeah.
This one is going to be watched by millions, not just because it's the Super Bowl repeat of last year, revenge game. The Swifties are all going to be watching. You got Jason Kelsey, is the sexiest man alive. Like this one. And if we learned anything from the Super Bowl last year, you just don't doubt Mahomes in these games. And basically all the stats that you just rattled off as well. So yeah, I love this. Give me the Chiefs as well. Look, we talked about there's a lot of double-digit spreads, right? You got the Dolphins, lay the points with the Dolphins. You got the 49ers, lay the points with the 49ers. And you got the Giants and the Commanders. I'm taking the points with the Giants, which is disgusting.
It's disgusting, but you know when it's disgusting, it's probably healthy for the betting bot.
Well, it's just like, this is a plug your nose, plug your eyes special. But okay, this Giants offense has shown absolutely nothing that makes you think that they could keep any game close, right? With Tommy DeVito, the pride of New Jersey. And by the way, his parents in the stadium last time, you're Italian, just absolutely perfect.
Incredible.
It was like central casting. They looked exactly how you would want them, exactly how you would want them to look up there in the stands in Dallas. But look, I just think that 10 points is too much to give with a total of 37. This is a very low total to be giving someone 10 points. And Howells had moments of brilliance and then kind of moments of like, what? what is happening here? And you got to think that Wink Martindale is just going to blitz the living hell out of him. They are going to
Yeah.
blitz him into oblivion. And that's where he does struggle. So I think that the Commanders' offense is going to struggle. The Giants' offense is going to do nothing. And we're going to get a really ugly, low scoring game to the point where if it's going to be 37 or lower, you really giving someone 10 points. I just can't do it.
Listen, you are on the exact sharp side of thinking. Double digit spread, low total. You take the under, you take the points, and
Yeah.
it's a divisional matchup.
Yeah.
And divisional dogs, I have a number we'll talk out in a bit. It completely backs that. I love it here. The Commanders have not really, they don't blow anybody out typically. And then in division, they always keep it close, whether they're on the winning side or the losing side.
Yeah.
And Howell, I mean, he's been hounded like Fields last year. I think he's
Yeah.
number one most sacked in the league, or
Sacked.
he's top
Yeah.
three for sure.
Yeah.
I like it. I think off a embarrassment
Oh,
of the Giants in Vegas, they
yeah.
and the last couple games, really, they got to turn it around.
The poor Giant. I mean, I feel bad for our friend Maddie Burke, who I love. She's a team reporter. She is
It's the best.
still just loving her job and doing such a great job. But it's been tough, and we hold Giants fans in our heart because this is a really, especially coming off of such a great season last year. But they have the Rangers. The Rangers are killing it right now. You know, you work at
Let's go.
MSG.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're all about the Rangers this year. All right, I'm looking at another dog
Yeah.
for my next money line and spread. I'm going to take the points with the Cardinals. And
Ooh.
you talked about situational games. This is a classic
Yeah.
letdown spot for the Texans. Coming off 2 monster wins. They just beat the Bengals, who at one point they were 7.5-point dogs. I believe the line closed more around 5.5, but still.
Yeah.
You just beat Joe Burrow coming off of 4 wins, looking like nobody could stop the Bengals. They beat the 49ers. They beat, their divisional rivals. Like they were ready to go. You got Kyler Murray back, and Mighty Mouse looked mighty good. I will say that 2-minute drill at the and I kind of look, I work on Sundays. I end up falling asleep sometimes in the midst of, Sundays. I get up at 3:30 a.m. I woke up to this 2-minute drill and I saw Kyler Murray scrambling. I saw they just had to kick a field goal, but he's chucking it downfield just because he can. You got James Conner back, which was such an important role for this team. Not necessarily winning in the beginning of season, but being feisty enough to keep things close. I'm not saying the Cardinals win this game, but I think 5 points is a lot to give a team that's scrappy and feisty, and it could be a letdown spot for the Texans.
Without question, I'm squad riding with you. I love the spot. Great letdown off a huge win. And when you're young like that with CJ on the road, you get a win like that. You're on a high.
Yeah.
Getting dapped up by LeBron in between weeks courtside. You're feeling yourself. How much is he locked in? It's also Ohio State and Michigan around the corner here. There's a lot of reasons in this spot to feel good, especially with Arizona, who's kind of played spoiler against the spread before Kyler even came into the mix. And he looked really good last week. I love the number. I love the letdown spot for Houston. I'm absolutely with you.
All right. What's your next money line or spread?
I'm a little nervous because it's my toxic ex, the San Diego Chargers, now LA.
Oh, okay.
But
I thought you were going to say something about I thought you weren't going to take the points of the Niners. I was going to be like,
oh no. I'm looking at this Chargers spot, and the hook's not there at the moment on Caesars. It's still -3. I got to take the Chargers here, Katie. I'm watching Jordan Love throw a pick in 6 of his last 7 weeks. I'm watching this team not even breaking more than 20 in the last. They cannot figure it out in Green Bay this year. That's fine. This is just about the Chargers bouncing back. And, Herbert, he did lose in that shootout, 41-38 against the Lions, but he had a 4-tug game. They're averaging 3.4 sacks on that Bosa-Mac line. They get to Love. They make it uncomfortable. And you saw it. They can do that and roll teams when they have those mismatches on the offensive line. It is a good offensive line in Green Bay, but they're banged up. And then again, Chargers are second in the league in turnover differential. Packers are -4. So not a great number. I don't love a road favorite, and historically you don't want to back a road favorite in betting. This is just, again, the Chargers fighting for their season, under 500, off a loss, low enough number for me. And the Packers just haven't shown me anything. They haven't covered or won against the AFC as well this year.
Well, you talk about not backing a road favorite. It used to be unthinkable that you would lay any points in Green Bay with any other team.
Oh, I know.
But this Jordan Love era is just off to a rocky start. You got Christian Watson that's still pretty banged up too, his number 1 receiver. And Jordan Love we're not loving it. We're not loving what Jordan Love, and I know they're not loving it in Green Bay. Now it still is his first season. There's some things to work out. But yeah, this Charger team, I want to get your take on something because we had Kenny
Yeah,
Betts
yeah.
big on this week, and he said that Justin Herbert is the Jay Cutler of
Oh,
today's era. What do you think?
that hurts,
Yeah.
Kenny.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. He's had Anthony Lynn, who was he's a great guy. Who was a running backs coach before he got promoted. And we got a defensive coordinator who's got a baby face, then a grown man, Jason Kelsey beard the next week. He doesn't even know who he is as an adult,
Right.
is what I look at from afar.
Uh-huh.
He hasn't had the coach. If he had a McVay, a Shanahan, a
Oof.
McDaniel, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're going to get there. Now, I
Yeah.
jokingly say San Diego, LA, they can't have weather, everything, and winning culture because
True.
it's 73 the next day,
True.
win or loss. But I do believe in him. I'm not getting off it yet. I mean, I do have the numbers in front of me. He's got to pick it up in the second half. He's just got to pick it up in the second half. He's got 11 tugs and 1 interception in the first half this year, 6 tugs, 4 interceptions in the second half. He's got to close games. That's just the Chargers' MO. If they can figure that out, and I think that's coaching. I heard murmurs of Belichick if it doesn't work out to LAC. I can't even comprehend that, Katie.
I can't comprehend that. I know Belichick just re-signed, and people are thinking like, "Oh, I think he stays in New England. I don't
I
think he
think so.
wants to
I think
uproot his life again at his age. I think he's comfortable." I wouldn't be surprised if they're tanking for CJ Stroud if they're in that
yeah,
talk a little
yeah.
bit, because I'll tell you what, Mac Jones is not the guy, and I'm not sure he ever was the guy. Anyways, let's take a quick break right now. When we come back, we're going to prop it up for Sunday and also give you our locks for Thursday night football. You're watching Moxie Bets. We're right back. Why should you bet with Caesars Sportsbook? 2 words, Caesars Rewards. Every bet brings you closer to the type of benefits only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, VIP experiences, sports and concert tickets, and more. It's not just an app, it's an empire. What's up, everybody? Back here on Moxie Bats with my guy, Alex Monaco of MSG Networks, previewing week 11 of the slate. We talked totals. Oh, no, we haven't talked totals yet. We talked just spreads. Let's
Yeah.
talk totals right now. Give me your first total for the night or
I'm
the
going to
weekend, rather.
go with Dolphins over 29.5 total points here, Katie. This is a great spot, and I love the Antonio Pierce, Castle McDaniels off and put him in, players coach. Clearly, the locker room's back, but they're still celebrating with cigars against a third-string quarterback the other day, which bothers me just a little bit,
Bothers me a lot. First of all, I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo is being scapegoated. I'm not,
Yeah.
and like, look, we already know how I feel about Jimmy. He's over my shoulder right here. I'm not saying he has played well. I know he led the league in interceptions, having missed a couple games, but he is better than Aiden O'Connell, people.
Oh,
He's
my
better than
gosh.
Aiden O'Connell.
Absolutely. And, this spot, Dolphins off a bye, we double checked. Tua, by the way, is 9-0 and 7-2 against the spread for those thinking about a side in this game of a favorite or more. It's a great number. They're averaging 31. We know about them. They're number 1 in every category offensively, top 3 in rushing, gone over 35 times. This is, again, Raiders fueling themselves, played the Giants, then the Jets. DeVito, no picture in Madden. Zach Wilson, 5 touchdowns on the season. So great spot for me to take the Dolphins rested at home.
Yeah.
We know about them at home as well. And this is just a high octane offense and a Raider. They're better on defense. They've given up over 30 a couple of times this year. Bottom 3 run D. So McDaniel, I think, prepare them to blow them out, but we just need 30 points. So even if they don't cover, I think they do get that. They do get that.
100%. And like you said, they get that all on their own because
Yeah.
there's nothing that Aiden O'Connell showed me that made me think that the Raiders. It's like, you look at Tay Adams. He was so frustrated with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's like, I don't know, nothing's happening with you either with Aiden O'Connell. But again, I've long since been a Jimmy Garoppolo apologist, and so I'm not hopping off that train quite yet. Another train that I'm not hopping off is the 49ers. Give me their team total over 26.5. Purdy for 30 has re-entered the chat. Monaco, he's back.
Wow.
All right.
He's back, baby.
He's got what's interesting about this game, and I don't know if you know this, but after the last game, Purdy now has a full season of starts under his belt. That was his 17th game that he has started. And you know who his very first start was last season? It was the Bucks against Tom Brady.
Let's go. That's right. I remember, was it
So
35-7
1 year.
Thursday night? Just routing.
Yes, absolutely ungoating the goat. I call him the goat slayer, if it will. So you got the Bucks, who have been actually a much better team than I think. I thought the Bucks were in the category of having one of the worst records. And
Oh
Baker
my
Mayfield, of
gosh.
course, he's got some good weapons there. They've been better than I thought that they would be. But let's just look at Purdy's 17 starts with the Niners. He's gone 13-4. He ranks second in the NFL in QBR with 72.7, first in yards per attempt at 8.9, sixth in completion rate, 68%, fifth in touchdown passes, 31. Like, come on now. We've got healthy weapons again, which we saw with this routing of the Jags. Trent Williams back on the field cannot be understated. He is
Cannot.
you think it's Christian McCaffrey? Trent Williams is the most important person to the offense and to the 49ers because when he's not playing, it's different. And you look at how weak that right side is. They continually attack the right side because they're not getting past Trent Williams. And you saw that guy running away from Trent Williams even last week.
Oh
It's like
my
it's so
gosh,
weird
that was all time.
all time.
All
So here's the thing: you look at when everybody is healthy because you've got these weapons like Debo and CMC and Kittle and Juszczyk that do everything. So when everybody is healthy, you just don't know what they're going to do. It's very hard to contain them. It's very hard to figure it out. You take a few of those weapons away, they become a little bit more predictable.
yeah.
Everybody got a touchdown last week except for CMC. Give me this 49ers team over the 26 and a half. We are back in the realm of scoring 30 per game.
I love it. Hey, they're an all I call the Niners. Feel free to take it and run with it. I don't know if you don't love a Boston comparison.
Yeah.
Purdy is Rajon Rondo, just
Ooh.
facilitating to Ray Allen, Pierce, and Garnett. That's all he
Yeah.
has to do is be Rajon Rondo, and they'll
Yeah.
continue to win.
Well, and the thing is like he is I'm not saying he's Tom Brady, and yeah, he makes some bad decisions, but he has some monster big boy throws too under pressure. So I look again. I'm a 49ers fan. I love Purdy. I even like Jimmy Garoppolo. Sue me. What's another total that you like?
I'm going to actually go under here. It's crept down, trending in my direction. Jets, Bills, under 39.5. We heard it week one. Of course, the storyline was Rodgers' Achilles, but this defense was built to stop one man,
Yes.
Haley Steinfeld's ex-boyfriend, Josh
Yeah.
Allen. And
Yeah.
he's just struggling. He's out of the flow. We could talk about Buffalo's offense. We could talk about, look at these Jets totals the last couple games.
Yeah.
12 points they scored, 6 points. They won a game with 13 points. They haven't cracked 20 points here since the Denver game in early October. This is going to be gross. It's divisional. Seasons are on the line in this game. It's just going to be a lot of 3 and outs. It's going to be gross. Buffalo's going to be coached up on defense as well. You can't give up over 20 to Denver and not feel a little bit of pressure the next week. This is just that spot where you go back historically, you look at Josh Allen's numbers against the Jets last few years. This is going to be gross, and I think it's going to comfortably hit under 39.5.
I agree. And I would even parlay both of these quarterbacks to throw an interception this
Ooh,
game.
let's
The
go. I
single
like it.
interception for both of them is going to be juiced to oblivion, but might as well parlay them, get some decent odds because both Zach Wilson and our lovable, needs his high school girlfriend again. Haley Seinfeld's ex throws interceptions every single week. And against the Jets, that is happening again. I'm looking at the Steelers Browns game, and we
Ooh,
talked about it earlier, and the total has dropped to 33. I'm still taking this under. I don't know who's scoring in
I
this
like
game,
it. I
Alex.
like it.
I don't know who's. First of all, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I say this every single week. I got to flick my hair about for it. They have no business being 6-3.
None.
No business.
None.
They have a negative point differential, and they are losing in yardage in every single game.
I know.
Yet they are winning, and it is first of all Mike Tomlin has sold his soul somewhere in the underworld because there is something that is just happening in this world because he just refuses to have a losing season. I don't know what it is, but the defense has kept them in games. The
Yeah.
defense creating turnovers have kept them in games. You've got DTR here, who his last start, which it was against the Ravens, 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And you've got a defense that can create pressure. You got TJ Watt coming at you. And then you also have an opportunistic defense that can create these kind of turnovers. And then you look at the Browns. This is one of the best defenses, in almost every category in the league. They're
Oh,
coming off of losing their franchise quarterback. They know that it's completely on their shoulders to win games because, like you said, I don't know why they're starting DTR over PJ Walker. Clearly, the coaches have seen something over the last couple weeks that give him the edge, or maybe they're just trying different things. I don't really know, but I don't
Yep.
know who's scoring in this game. So give me this under 33.
I'm with you. I absolutely love it. And that low, and we still like it. And you look at historically low numbers, they actually cash. I think it's over 60% when it's
Ooh,
below a certain number
like
in the
34 or
high
something.
30s in divisional games. So yeah, divisional makes it even that much more enticing.
All right, let's prop it up now. I'll just go ahead and start. I'm taking DTR under one passing touchdown. It's a plus 129. I
Love
just
it.
don't see it happening. I just don't see
I
a lot of
know.
scoring in this game. So at plus 129, I'm going to take him not to throw a touchdown pass. What do you like?
Love it. I'm going to go Goff over 1.5 touchdowns, 4 multiple touchdown games this year. Big running game
Yeah.
last week. Gibbs got in twice. Montgomery got in once. Chargers can't stop anybody on the run. Goff, for those out there wondering how he's going to do in this game, he's covered 11 straight against
Woo!
NFC North opponents. 11 straight. We know about him being the most profitable. Clearly, he earns
Yes.
his keep in this spot. I just think Goff is going to have one of those games. It's a Justin Fields game. He's got the thumb injury. This could get ugly. It's also at home. This was in Chicago. I wouldn't take it to be a ground and pound game.
Yeah.
Goff at home,
Oh,
comfy, Casper
yeah.
mattress over 1.5.
Goff in a dome, Goff at home. You read the statistics about away versus at home. Now, he absolutely crushed those statistics in this last game, but he was kind of at home, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't, not, I think did he ever play in SoFi or did he get traded before the first? I think he got traded before the first season at SoFi.
No, he was there. He was there.
He was
Yeah,
there.
he was at
All right.
SoFi,
So
yeah.
yeah, so could slightly home, also
Yeah.
domed, and yeah, it's been really fun to finally see them. And I like Josh over 2.5 passing touchdowns, but I also or 1.5 to get 2. But I also just like that Monty and Gibbs are finally being used kind of in tandem. It just felt like Jahmyr Gibbs is being held back for a lot of this season, which didn't make a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
I like him in the screen game as too. So one of those passes could be, throwing a short one to Gibbs in the backfield and then running it over.
Yeah,
Um,
also went over this number for the last 5 Bears games. Forgot to throw that in there. So plays them very well on this number.
Do you think Goff is we talked about this on one of my last, podcasts, that Goff is one of those quarterbacks that's just kinda disrespected, and I think it's because he was up and down in LA, didn't have a great reputation in LA, was traded away basically as a gimme to get Matt Stafford to the Lions, but now he's coming out and he's balling, and I still don't know that he gets the respect that his numbers dictate.
He doesn't. I actually got a chance to meet him once out here in New York. Had a good
Oh, I
time hanging out
remember.
with. Yeah, hung out in a jacuzzi with Jared Goff in the offseason.
Wow.
Hilarious, but didn't get him to hit me on a little post pattern. But he's just such a mild mannered, good guy. I think he doesn't get the respect because he doesn't speak up on it. He lets his play
Yeah,
do the talking.
yeah,
He for him to go to Detroit, not have the year he's having by any means this year, that Super Bowl year for the Rams. I mean, that's like your ex going off, getting married, and is happy. So, like,
yeah,
that was a tough spot, and he has come back. He didn't wallow. He
yep,
didn't feel bad for himself, and he has turned around a culture and a franchise that has done virtually nothing in our entire lives. I
yeah,
mean, back to Barry Sanders. So, I actually talked about him on the Better Half Hour. I think at 33-1 MVP, we look at the history of one seed MVPs. If your team gets that, if Philly loses on Sunday, Katie, and somehow Detroit keeps winning, they go 14-3, 15-2, and Goff's got those numbers. 33-1 right
yeah,
now. I don't know. Could
yeah.
be worth a sprinkle.
Could be worth a sprinkle, and you know what? I think it seemed like the worst thing. I thought when that trade happened for Stafford that Goff was gonna be gone within a year, he was gonna be serviceable, they were gonna draft, they're gonna do whatever. I think this is the best thing that ever happened to
Yeah.
Jared Goff was to get him
Yeah.
there, and shout out to Lions fans who are traveling so
Oh
well
my
across
God.
the country. I mean, they are just so happy. They've been so starved for so long to a good team, and I just love seeing them happy and out there and traveling and supporting their team.
Yeah.
I love a tight end. I do a lot of tight end props. They're my favorite position. George
Yeah.
Kittle, my favorite player. Trey McBride on the Arizona
Ooh.
Cardinals. I love him. First of all, he's been killing it for me in fantasy. I've been using him as like a little punt in
Yeah,
daily
yeah.
fantasy, and he has been absolutely crushing it for me. He reeled in 8 of 9 targets for 131 yards in Sunday's victory versus the Falcons. Now, McBride has only surpassed 40 receiving yards one time in 8 games this season. But one, the dude's heating up. Two, Kyler Murray is back, right? That gives that his ceiling goes from here to here. Kyler Murray has long relied on tight ends. It's been one of his favorite positions.
Yeah.
Ertz is still out. Gimme McBride over 54.5 receiving yards.
I love it. I mean, he loved Ertz when he was dancing with him last year before he got hurt. So
Yeah.
why not? And McBride, good pickup right when he's hot.
Yeah.
I'm
Is that
riding
another
with you
Indiana?
on yeah, I'm going with K1. I'm going with him over
Ooh.
rushing yards. It's gonna land between
Yeah.
25 and 30. Now, 6 for 33 last week, about 5.5 per and a touchdown. Had a hit the over on the rush on the last series, believe it or not. But this is a Houston Texans team that's going to get to him, make it uncomfortable. They do play the run pretty well, but I mean, even Burrow got for a little 20 yards against them the other week. I think for this spot, I mean, I look back last year, he's gone over 25 plus yards, 9 out of his 11 games he played last year. We know he's got the wheels, and we know he likes to run when he
Yeah.
can't find someone open, and it's a coached up D'Amico Ryan's D. So I'm going to go over on Kyler Murray rushing.
It was like, what ACL? When I saw him
I know.
scrambling, it was
I know.
just like he was cutting. I mean, he looked
Incredible.
incredible. So, and here's the thing. He needs to I think he's motivated to win these games because if they lose, he could be without a job unless they turn this kind of around. So he is very motivated. He's like, I'm not letting y'all get rid of me. So I agree with you on that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Any matchups that you are looking to avoid this week that you're just like not touching with a 10-foot pole?
I find the Seahawks Rams a little fishy. The line,
Yes.
again, it was where it
Yes.
was 2.5 because Stafford's coming back. I think conventional wisdom would say take the Seahawks, but a divisional spot, it starts trending,
Off a
one
bye.
and a half off a bye, two. This is one of
Yeah.
those moments where you think Seahawks should win. Rams play spoiler. I would avoid that one. I feel a little something off in the gambling gut.
Yeah. As a Niners fan, I hope that the Rams come out and
Oh
upset
yeah,
and win that
be
one.
huge.
All right, time now for Mox Locks, the one that you are absolutely taken to the window, and you're going with your ex.
I am. I love the Chargers just as much as I love the Steelers. Dealer's choice. I could go with Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin's 26-6-1 against the Browns in his tenure. Think about this. 8 different full-time interim coaches Browns have had against Tomlin, and they're 26-1 against him. Line's obviously gone from 4 down to 1.5. Absolutely love that spot. Also, Pittsburgh's 2-0 on the road as dogs and 2-1 against the spread. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh, and of course, I love the Chargers. You heard it off the top. I
Yeah.
can go down the list again, but this is just Chargers timely turnovers. Herbert better quarterback. I guess better coach, just better roster. Must win game. I love the Chargers. Love the Steelers. Both on the road.
All right, it's hard to take the Steelers, but I understand. I
They're gonna
understand.
do it, Katie. It's gonna be gross, and they're gonna do it. We're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, Pittsburgh
Yeah.
won again," and they probably got
I
out.
took I took them last week. I laid the 3 and we ended up cashing on that one. I'm looking at a
Yeah.
prop bet. I'm looking at all pro Fred Warner over
Ooh.
7.5 tackles and assists. Let me just pull up his stat line for you right now. Look at his total tackles, which are solos and assists. Jags 7, Bengals 10, Minnesota 13. All of these are over this number 7, 8. My guy hasn't gone under this 1, 2, 3 in 5 weeks. So give me all pro Fred to remain all pro Fred and get over 6.5 tackles and assists.
Let's go.
Let's go. Oh, it's 7.5 tackles and assists. I don't care. I still like
Still
it. I
hitting.
still
Still
like it.
hitting.
All right, we got to touch about the Thursday night game. The
Yeah.
Bengals at the Ravens. Total 46. Baltimore laying 4.
Yeah.
Since he's banged up a little bit, they're going to be without their 2 starting tackles, which is kind of a big thing. I'm still taking the points here. I'm going to take the points with the Bengals. I think the Ravens win this game. They're
Yeah.
both coming off upsetting losses. But for a divisional matchup, 4 points seems like too much for me. I could see that the Ravens win this game by a field goal. So I'm going to take the points. And I also like the under just because primetime unders, just don't bet against it, people. They're not hitting.
I'm squad riding with you completely. Bengals have also won 4 of the last 6, including the playoffs last year against this team. I know Higgins out, a couple of big players out for the Bengals. I got a number here, Katie. Joe
Oh,
Burrow.
Uh-huh.
as an underdog of 3 or more. 15-2 against the spread. Are we kidding me?
Are we kidding
15
me?
and 2. Bengals have also covered 6 straight as road dogs. I love Burrow on the road. I bought the
Yep.
dip against the Cardinals before they got that win and went on their little 4-game win streak. Also, this is the AFC North. We know about I got a B- joke that this division beats up on each other like the Gronkowski brothers for the last piece of meat at dinner. Literally, though, 10 of the last 12 Ravens home games have gone under. I lean with you there
Yeah.
as well. This is a spot where the Ravens will win, maybe, but they will not cover. This
No.
is the epitome of back the spot, back the number, and you could not feel better about Burrow on the road. He likes being
Yeah.
doubted, and he likes being on the road. He
Yeah.
wants this adversity, Katie, so I love the spot with the 4.
I do too. And if you look at prop bets, I mean, Joe Burrow over 1.5 passing touchdowns. This is hit, I believe, in like yeah, he's had at least 2 in his last 5 games, 3 score in 2 of those 5. You got to think Lamar Jackson over his rush prop. That's at 43.5. He's coming off, and you think, okay, they're without their 2 starting tackles. That's going to be hard. Or it would be hard for them to defend someone like Lamar Jackson through the air. So I think a lot of people are thinking he's going to be throwing the ball a lot more, but he's coming
Yeah,
off his worst completion
I know.
versus the Browns there. I think he only had 13 completions. So I think there's still going to be a lot of designed run for him. This is where he absolutely shines. He's still going to be using his legs. Don't fall for the trap that he's going to be throwing the ball more. But I do think that he is going to have an interception. I like to get a quarterback interception anytime I can. And
Yeah.
he only has 1 interception through the in 3 of his last 4 games. Oh, he's gone without an interception in 3 of his last 4 games. But the Bengals just bring pressure. They're opportunistic. They're
Oh,
very
yeah.
similar to the Steelers in that way. In 5 games, they have picked off 8 passes. So I think he gets picked off tonight.
And they're the number 1 team in the league, Katie, with turnover differential.
Yes.
So just literally double-digit turnover team. So they will turn this man over. And he's off a 2 interception game last week. So I'm with you.
I love it. All
That's
right,
fun.
Alex, thank you so much
Thanks,
for
Katie.
joining us today. So the Better Half Hour still going to MSG Networks. You have a new show with our friend Sean Little. So
Yeah.
talk to me about that.
The juice bar. Hey, 2 friends
Juice
chopping it
bar.
up. They just tell us, pretend like the camera's not there. Look, we hang out, we grab bites. Took me to an unbelievable dumpling spot the other day. Told me to not overeat, pack the leftovers. That's a guy off the market telling a guy on the market how to bachelor live better. And we take that on air, and we bring a little bit. He went to a black tie wedding. I came back from a wedding, much different. Going with someone and going by yourself. I was in a stepbrother's bunk bedroom with 4 other men. I'll spare you on
That's
that. But
fun
we
though.
bring
That's
all
fun
those kind of
too.
things, and then we spin them into like, okay, how can you like bet on a wedding? That kind of thing. And then we talk shop, of course. And I mean, he's kind of my responsible older brother in the betting world, and I'm the DGen taking the Broncos +7 and the Bills live trying to Costanza double dip. And we have a lot of fun. It's the juice bar, and obviously little fun puns and parlay parfaits and making fake smoothies, and it's a good time. MSG Weekly on Wednesdays.
MSG Weekly on Wednesdays, and obviously anyone local in the tri-state area, but you can also get it on like Roku and where else?
Yeah, Fubo, DirecTV's got MSG Plus, the new app, of course, just a tick under $10, gets you all access to Knicks, Rangers games, etc. A ton of content on there. So yeah, we're all over the place.
I love it. And you've got 2 different social media accounts. So plug the one that you want people to follow to
Listen,
follow you on.
Moneyline, we're talking betting. Moneyline Monaco's the betting page. We got the personal one. They sort of run parallel, but yeah,
Yeah.
Moneyline Monaco across all platforms, and a classic double underscore on Twitter. Thank you, Elon.
Oh, I love that. All right, Alex, thank you so much for joining us today. Always so much fun to talk ball with you. This has been Moxie Bets presented by Caesar Sportsbook. Don't forget to follow us on social as well at Moxie Bets. Good luck with your bets. We'll see you Monday.